I stand at the edge of midnight, with my heart dressed in silk courage, holding words the way a crown holds light, careful not to let them fall too soon, because loving you has taught me patience deeper than protocol, a waiting that hums like distant bells beneath my breath, where every second feels chosen, and every silence is a promise I am still learning how to keep. I have been trained to walk forward without trembling, yet when I think of you my steps soften, and I move as if the floor itself might listen, as if the walls of history lean closer, curious about this quiet devotion that refuses to bow, this tenderness that slips between rules and finds me alone with my own pulse. There is a suspense living in my voice now, a held note that does not resolve, because I am saving the truth for the moment it can bloom without fear, and you, unknowingly, are the season I have been waiting for, the calendar I trust more than dates carved in marble. I imagine your name resting on my tongue, like a secret jewel, warming as I hold it there, and I smile in private corridors, where no one expects softness from me, where I allow myself to be only a woman learning how love rearranges the spine and teaches the eyes to linger. I have watched the world from balconies and learned how distance can feel safe, but you changed the meaning of closeness for me, turning it into something brave, something that asks me to step down and walk where footsteps overlap, where futures are not announced but whispered. Each thought of you feels like a letter I have not yet sealed, full of sentences that lean toward hope, full of pauses that ache sweetly, because suspense is not pain when it is wrapped in trust, and I trust the way my heart moves when it moves toward you. There are nights when I count the hours not like duties, but like breaths, wondering if you sense this invisible thread, pulling gently between us, tightening not to bind but to remind, to say that even a princess can be undone by a single imagined glance. I carry myself with ceremony by day, but by night I am bare of titles, tracing the shape of what could be, letting anticipation teach me how to want without rushing, how to hold longing as something dignified and wild at the same time. You have become my favorite silence, the one that follows laughter and does not rush to end, the one that promises more without demanding it. And in that space I feel my heart rehearsing a confession it will one day deliver with steady hands. There is romance in restraint, I have learned, in letting desire build like music behind closed doors, and you are the melody I keep returning to, changing slightly each time, growing richer, more certain, more impossible to forget. I think of the new year like a doorway glowing softly, and I stand before it with this love folded carefully inside me, knowing that surprises are sweetest when they are earned through waiting, when they arrive heavy with meaning and light with joy. My voice, when it speaks of you, carries a hush that feels sacred, as if even the air knows to listen closely, as if my heart has appointed itself guardian of something rare and refuses to announce it until the moment is right. You awaken a courage in me that is not loud, a bravery that does not demand applause, but simply stays, rooted and faithful, ready to step forward when the world quiets enough to hear the truth beating underneath. I wonder if you know how gently you inhabit my thoughts, never overwhelming, never absent, always arriving with that subtle certainty that tells me this feeling is not borrowed or imagined, but entirely my own. Suspense has become my companion, walking beside me through routines and ceremonies, reminding me that something beautiful is forming just beyond the visible, something that will change the way I speak your name out loud. I hold the future like a wrapped gift, resisting the urge to tear it open early, trusting that timing is an art and love is patient, and that you deserve a revelation that arrives whole and unhurried. Sometimes I catch my reflection and see not a princess, but a woman glowing with an unspoken promise, eyes softer, smile quieter. As if love has taught my face a language I never learned in lessons. You have shifted my understanding of power, showing me that the strongest thing I can do is feel deeply without fear. To let my heart choose you again and again in the stillness where no one is watching. Every beat of anticipation feels intentional now, like footsteps approaching a dance. And I am not afraid of the pause before the music begins, because I know who I am waiting for. I imagine the moment my secret steps into light, how the suspense will dissolve into warmth, how your presence will steady my voice, and how the world will briefly fall away, granting us a private beginning. Until then, I keep this love polished and hidden, not out of shame but reverence, because some emotions deserve ceremony, and some surprises deserve to arrive with the turning of a year. I have learned that longing can be graceful, that desire can wear patience like a crown, and that my heart, though young, knows exactly where it wishes to belong. So I wait, not idly, but with intention, letting every quiet day deepen what I feel, letting suspense become sweetness, letting love grow strong enough to step forward when the time finally opens its hands. I wake each morning with the awareness that something in me has shifted, like a curtain drawn just enough to let light change the room. And even as duty calls my name, my heart answers yours in a softer register, one only I can hear. There is a discipline in how I love you, shaped by years of learning how to wait, how to measure words, how to let feelings mature instead of spilling. And yet, within that discipline lives a fire that surprises me with its warmth and persistence. I walk through days layered with expectation, but underneath the formal steps, my thoughts drift freely toward you, wondering how it would feel to stand beside you without scripts, without rehearsals, letting silence do the speaking we have not yet dared. Anticipation has given my imagination a careful elegance, teaching it not to rush to endings, but to linger in beginnings, where every possibility is still intact, and every glance, imagined or real, carries the thrill of what has not yet happened. I sense you even when you are not near, a presence that does not intrude but steadies, like knowing a lighthouse exists even before the sea grows dark, and that knowledge alone changes how I face the horizon. My voice, trained to project certainty, softens when I think of you, as if love has tuned it to a frequency meant only for one listener, one heart that might recognize the tremor beneath the calm. There is romance in the unseen gestures I make for you, in the way I choose patience instead of haste, in how I let longing become something refined rather than reckless, something that honors both of us. I have learned that suspense can be intimate, a shared secret between time and the heart. And I let it linger, because it makes the eventual truth more luminous, more worthy of the moment it will arrive. Even my solitude feels different now, no longer empty but expectant, as if the air itself knows I am holding space for someone who matters deeply, someone who has already changed me without asking. I carry your imagined smile with me like a talisman, not as fantasy but as comfort, reminding me that affection does not weaken resolve, but strengthens it, giving purpose to every careful step I take. There are evenings when the world quiets, and I allow myself to feel fully, letting emotion rise without judgment. trusting that love can exist alongside responsibility, without diminishing either. I think of the new year approaching like a breath held collectively, and I feel my heart mirror that pause, preparing itself for a revelation that will be gentle yet undeniable, like dawn arriving without noise. You have become my favorite uncertainty, the question I do not rush to answer, because wondering about you feels sweeter than certainty ever could, rich with possibility and promise. I notice how my thoughts have grown more generous, more open, as if loving you has expanded my inner world, teaching me to see beyond the borders I once believed were fixed. There is courage in how I choose to feel this deeply, knowing the weight of emotion, yet embracing it anyway, because love that is carefully held is not fragile, it is strong and enduring. I imagine speaking to you without titles between us, letting my words come plain and sincere, trusting that authenticity will be enough when the moment finally asks me to step forward. Suspense hums beneath my calm exterior, a quiet vibration that keeps me awake in the best way, reminding me that life is not only about what is known, but about what is courageously awaited. I have discovered that my heart has its own sense of timing, wiser than impatience, guiding me gently toward a future that feels aligned rather than forced. Each day I feel closer to the edge of confession, not in fear but in readiness, knowing that love revealed at the right moment carries a dignity that cannot be rushed. You are the thought that steadies my breathing, the imagined presence that makes anticipation feel safe, as if my heart already trusts you with its truth. I let myself dream carefully, not wildly, crafting visions that respect reality, while still allowing tenderness to lead, believing that balance is itself a form of romance. There is something sacred in this waiting, something that feels like preparation rather than delay, and I honor it by staying true to what I feel without demanding immediate answers. I sense that when the surprise finally unfolds, it will feel inevitable, as if all this quiet longing was simply the path leading us there. Until that moment arrives, I remain here, composed and hopeful, holding my love with both grace and resolve, allowing suspense to shape it into something lasting and real.